title of this speech is The Road Towards Trust. The Road Towards Trust, our Christian roots.
Have you ever heard anyone say, "I'd be such a happier person if only I hadn't believed in myself so much"? It sounds preposterous, right? Yet how many times do we undermine trust in our own wisdom in order to place that trust in something external? Now, the road to developing trust in ourselves does not need to be a long one. However, in my experience, it seems that the length of that road seems to be directly proportional to the thickness of the skull. But there are markers along the way of that road to help direct you back towards trust in yourself, if only you're willing to pay attention. For example, one summer I was traveling in the majestic Rocky Mountains, beautiful in their grandeur, but uncompromising and potentially fatal for those unskilled at their navigation. Well, I was heading from, I had two navigation devices. One, a GPS, Global Positioning System, and two, a GCS, Gut Check System. However, only one of those was online this particular day. The other was sleeping. Well, I was heading from Aspen to Crested Butte, Colorado. Plugging in the coordinates to the GPS, it gave me a route over some of the tallest peaks through a corridor called Pearl Pass to get me there to my destination in about 2 hours. Well, I started off on my way, called my contact in Crested Butte and said, "I'll be there in 2 hours, I'm coming over Pearl Pass." She said, "Pearl Pass?" in a concerned tone. "I'm not sure you want to..." I entered too far into the mountains and lost cell phone connection. Well, I wondered, what was she going to say? However, since my gut was in sleep mode, the next thought was, I guess it doesn't matter, and I continued on. Thus, moving through the first marker, blissful ignorance. The GPS said, "In 200 meters, turn right," in a silky yet stilted voice. So obediently, I turned right, onto a dirt road, 2 lanes, where I saw campers on my left and tents on the right, people cooking barbecues. I thought, this is a pretty interesting scenario for a mountain pass. But I continued on, and the road then became devoid of campers, shrunk down to a single lane, and became rocky. Then again, I thought, well, this is kind of strange. What if a car's coming from the other direction? How are we going to get around each other? And by the way, how come I haven't seen any cars coming in the other direction? This passed me through marker number 2. Blissful, or what, illogical choices in the face of contrary evidence. But I continued on, soon through marker number 3. Blissful, delusional optimism. I'm on a Rocky Mountain adventure, yeah, a 4-wheel drive as the going got steeper, got more arduous, rockier, and definitely more treacherous. Well, that propelled me then, as it didn't improve, to marker number 4. Ego justifications. I'm not going to quit. The Minson never quits. I got a 4-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee, luxury edition. Nothing's going to stop me. And so I propelled myself onward to the next terrain, which happened to be sort of a mountain cliff scenario. I had a sheer wall on my right and a sheer drop on my left, with a road just wide enough for the Jeep to move through the now bouldery and rocky terrain. Well, at this point, my gut check system began to activate and said, "Turn around." Well, I wanted to turn around, but I couldn't. So onward I went, past marker number 5. Obligatory obligatory commitment to an ideal you no longer believe in. Onward I went until the final terrain challenge came. I rounded a corner and there was a river, not going across the road, but coming straight down the road, about a foot wide and taking up the whole space. And I tried to navigate through that river until I finally broke down in more or less a panicky state. I finally got my act together, calmed my wits, and let my gut check system take over. It determined that I probably had more chance of survival if I tried to turn around than go on forward. And so that's what I did. For the next hour, essentially a 100-point turn. 3 inches backwards, dear Lord, don't let me die. Turn 3 inches forward. Did I tell you I'm thinking of going back to church? Turn. For the next hour. Finally, I got that car turned around miraculously. And just as I did, the GPS chimed in. Make a U-turn back to your destination. In a fit of rage, I picked up that thing and I chucked it out across the ravine there to crash in 1,000 pieces. Wow, that was satisfying. Well, I made it down that mountain, fortunately, in one piece. I can't say the same for the car, unfortunately. But I learned my lesson that day, to trust in my inner wisdom. So how about you? Is there a place where you're being delusionally ignorant? Is there a place where you're pressing on in spite of the evidence to the contrary? Is there a place where you find your ego overriding your wisdom? Trust yourself. Turn on that superior navigation system, the gut check system, or GCS. And start learning to trust your inner guidance. After all, it's got to be better than a GPS. I mean, to err is human, but to really screw up takes a computer.